Hey, welcome to The Feast Life, where we empower you, the modern homeschool mom, to create a life in homeschool you love. I'm Julie Ross, the creator of the award-winning curriculum A Gentle Feast, a homeschool veteran of over 20 years, and a certified Christian life coach. Charlotte Mason said, life should be all living, not a mere tedious passing of time. So on this show, we seek to savor the feast of life. So go get your favorite beverage and pull up a chair. You're welcome at this table. Hello, welcome back to The Feast Life. I'm your host, Julie Ross. Today's episode is a treat, especially if you've ever dreamed of sipping a café crème in Paris, flipping through a vintage French book, or bringing the beauty of language and culture into your homeschool. So here's the thing, I just got back from France and I had the most magical time. But before I left, my friend Sue Lee, aka Madam Lee, sent me some of her Charlotte Mason inspired French curriculum to review on the plane. And y'all, when I say this was amazing, I mean it. Her approach to teaching French is like nothing I've ever seen. It's immersive, soul-stirring, and rooted in the kind of meaningful connections that make learning last. So when we started chatting after my trip, I knew I had to hit record so you could hear this conversation too. Whether you're intimidated by teaching foreign language, curious about incorporating more beauty into your homeschool, or if you're just a fellow Francophile like me, this episode is going to inspire you to slow down, soak it in, and to say bonjour to something truly life-giving. Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Feast Life podcast. I'm your host, Julie Ross, and I'm here today with Sue Lee from French with Madam Lee, and we have been chit-chatting, and I was like, girl, I need to hit record so people can actually hear this conversation because I just got back from France, and Sue was so generous to send me some of her curriculum to look at on the plane and kind of review some French before I got there. But I wanted to tell you, I would start talking in French and then the people would start talking in English.
Yeah.
So I think my French was that bad that they were like, yeah, you don't know what you're saying.
That's such a common thing. It's if you follow like French language Instagram, it's like a meme now.
Oh,
Where
because I'm
where
not the
like
only one that
it's
makes me
like
feel better.
I know it's POV. They finally respond back to you in French. And it's like a huge milestone of they didn't respond back to me in English. They responded in French. And so I think some people think of it as like a backhanded like insult, but it's really not. They just want to make you
Fine.
comfortable.
Yeah,
So
if I
kind.
met someone and they were speaking Spanish and I don't know any Spanish, but if I knew any, I would want to talk to them and what they
Exactly.
speak, make them more comfortable. I thought that was really polite.
Yes.
And I was,
And as long as you said that first bonjour,
yeah.
they love it. They are so appreciative of that cultural norm that not many people know about. Like for us, hello, we don't even have to say hello. We can just give a nod or and then go right into how's your day? Or
How much
did you
is this
find
dress?
how
Yeah.
much is this dress? Excuse me, can you help me find this? And
Yeah.
it's totally normal. But in France, you'll people I know have had interactions where they're starting with and they're like, bonjour. And they're like, you forgot. And it's not that it's rude, it's just a cultural norm that we don't have. And I always say the French people, they like for us Americans, we appreciate friendliness and warmth,
Mhm.
and they are equally friendly, but they really prioritize politeness and
I noticed
what
that.
comes first and just the order of things. And it's just a different mindset. It's neither better nor worse, but it's something that's so fun to know when you're going, and hopefully we'll
Very
convince
helpful
your
tip. I
daughter to
actually found a
go.
YouTube video of 20 things you need to know before you go to Paris. And that they did say that on there. You always say bonjour before you do
We,
anything else.
uh-huh.
And then say
That's the
merci,
key.
use the
Yeah.
kindness. Thank
It's
you. You're
just,
welcome.
yes.
That's just
And
normal human interaction. We should be saying
ex I know, exactly. And it's the first key that unlocks all the interactions. So it's not like you have to say bonjour to the same person all day, but that's the first thing you say when you first see them during the day. And then, yeah, you're set. My husband, I always say, he knows no French. He
okay.
knows bonjour and merci. And maybe he'll do like a bonsoir sometimes, but he's just so set on, okay, I'm going to do that. And everywhere I go, and he is so popular. Everyone loves him. He has the best interactions, and that's all you need, right?
I did
Everything.
feel very honored when I checked into the hotel. I checked in French and he replied in French. And then
Wow.
he started saying more. And it
Okay.
was so fast. I was
No, that was just the beginning.
so it's yes, they talk very fast.
Yes.
getting to it is a whole nother skill. So anyway, we'll divert from my trip to France because I could talk about it all day
I
long.
know. We'll
Yes,
talk about that.
I
Yeah.
cannot wait to I cannot wait to go back. It was really, truly such a magical experience. I was
So
there for two
magical.
days and I could have just been there for months. It was amazing.
Oh,
And
yes.
we're going to see all of it in
No,
Paris, which is always something
no.
fun around the next corner or some museum.
Hmm.
I can't believe how many art museums and it's all like amazing artists. Like,
Exactly. And there's more than 100 museums in Paris alone. And not all of them are fine art museums. Some
right.
of them are like crafts and history, but just like the richness, the wealth of culture and beauty concentrated in that one city, all over France, all over Europe, but I'm partial to Paris. I've been, I don't know, maybe 5 times, and I feel like I've just scratched the surface. And there's all the major landmarks and everything, but I love just to go in the hidden alleyways and discover a
Oh,
cute
so
store, a cute cafe. And I was talking to a taxi driver one day, and I love it because you just natural French conversation. And I was asking him, do you ever take for granted that you live here? And he said, it's tempting to, but I don't because I live in a museum. And I was like, I'm so glad you appreciate it because
yeah.
it's such a, I live in Southern California, and sometimes I do take for granted the weather and the beach, but when you're able to really be thankful for the beauty that you're surrounded with. Oh my goodness. That made me happy. I was like, okay, I'm glad you don't take it for granted. I'm glad you understand just the concentration of amazing beauty that surrounds you every day. That made me really happy.
Because that really ties in well with your approach to teaching French. And of course, when I saw that you used the term feast, I was like, okay, this is my girl
I
because
know. When I found yours too, I was like, we are soul sisters.
exactly, right? I was like, okay, this has to be great. And I'm a Frenchophile, so it's perfect.
Uh-huh.
And or Francophile, however you want to say it. And you really do bring the culture and beauty into that. So can you talk a little bit about how you approach teaching the French language, maybe a little
Sure. Yeah. It's a
typical?
combination of how I came into the language and also Charlotte Mason. So I, like all of us, I don't think any of us, I wasn't homeschooled, were you?
No.
Okay, yeah. I think,
Oh, I could tell you about my French in high school too, and how
okay.
horrible it was, and how I learned absolutely nothing.
Oh, I know. It's rare that someone will learn French in high school and still keep speaking it. I think going to just a regular high school, like education as we knew it, was just so dry, so boring. I remember just
Boring time.
counting down the months before I could graduate high school and just be done because it's so utilitarian. It's so, okay, input this information and then I gotta output it somehow and just keep up my grades. But it wasn't until my 11th grade art history class where I was able to, I didn't even know what to expect. I just took it because it's another AP class. I'll take it. And it changed my life because for 1 hour a day, I could stare at beautiful things.
Mm.
And I was like, this is education. I can sit in a dark room and look at slides of cathedrals and paintings and sculpture and learn about that. It did something to my soul. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It opened
No,
my eyes to the idea.
that's
I
what
think
Charlotte Mason talks about, right? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. It opened my eyes to the fact that I can learn something that is beautiful, but it also is academic, it's history. And then, what Charlotte Mason says about learning and the science of relations, I was like, okay, now this ties in with my European history class.
Mm.
And now this ties in with the literature we're reading in my literature class. It made my whole education come alive. And I was like, oh my goodness, it was the first time where I wanted to go home and learn more on my own
Wow.
versus, okay, I just got to do the homework and get it done and get an A.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's something different. But for me, it was art that was the beauty. Looking at beauty changed my outlook on education. And after I graduated high school, I was like, I don't know what I want to do, but because art history like moved me so much and inspired me so much, I'm just gonna major in art history and see where it leads me. And I'm a Korean American. That's very unlike an Asian, okay? Asians are supposed to be doctors and lawyers and engineers, but my parents were like Korean hippies, and they're like, they were like, do it. You love it, just do it. My parents are also musicians too, so
Oh,
they're
that's
very
awesome.
like
Yes, they
artsy
support
and
the
everything.
arts and
They
sees
do. My
value.
mom's like
Yeah.
a poet now. She turned a
Oh, I
poet
love
into a
that.
poet. But anyway, they were like very encouraging. I was like, okay, so I'm going to do art history. And then for my major, they required a language component too. And I did Spanish in high school,
Oh,
actually,
wow,
and
okay.
I enjoyed it. I did fine, but I didn't have that passion. Compared to when I took my very first French class, I decided I would do French as my language requirement because I was doing so much French art.
Yeah,
At
makes
my
sense.
first class, learning bonjour. And I don't know what else I learned. I might have learned je suis américaine or something like
Yeah.
that. I I was like obsessed. I was so obsessed because I was like, oh my goodness, this language is beautiful too. And then
Mhm.
this art is beautiful. And then now the history of everything is so beautiful. So I decided to double major. And I really was like, okay, what should I do with my art? If I want to work in a museum, which I was really considering, it would require more school. I was like, no, I want to keep doing French. So I got my credential, and that's how I became a teacher.
Okay.
But it wasn't until I started homeschooling and found Charlotte Mason that I was like, oh my goodness, this is how I should have been teaching French all along.
Mhm.
Because I think when you're in the school system and you're a teacher, there's so many things that you need to check off and prove that you've done. And
I was a school teacher too. Mhm.
yeah, you know how it is, the
Oh, yeah.
standards and all the requirements and testing and I still did a good job and I was able to see some kids like find the passion in it too. But if I could go back, I'm not going to go back ever, but if I could tell my
Yeah.
former teacher
Yeah.
self, I would have been like, no, incorporate all those beautiful things. Incorporate the art, incorporate the poetry. Don't be shy and about veering from the textbook. Do narrations in French. You can start easy. You can start with the short phrases. So now that I teach homeschoolers and I've discovered this philosophy and it has meshed so well with how I taught my kids when we were homeschooling. My kids are grown now, but it was, it just makes a lot of sense. And I feel like something like a language it very easily lends itself to the science of relations because it's okay, we're going to learn this vocabulary, let's say even colors. Okay, let's learn colors. But instead of checking off a list and doing a vocab list and drills and people do on apps and stuff like that, let's incorporate it and put it into meaningful sentences while we look at art. So let's look at the water lilies or whatever and tell me, qu'est-ce que tu vois? What do you see? I see all these colors. Il y a le noir, or we could do weather, il fait beau. And it just lends itself really well to all the other things that you can hook the language onto, whether it's art or some of my kids are really into ballet, so dance and
That's
food. Everyone
my
loves
daughter's
we do.
integration to French was ballet.
Was it ballet? Yes, I have a lot of students that have come in through that. So it's a very fun way to dive into all the different topics and learn French at the same time.
Yeah, I love it because it's holistic. It's not
Right.
arbitrary, something you're adding on. And I think for parents, foreign language can be intimidating. Um,
Yes.
and it's okay, here's one more thing. Like, I just need something like an app or that's going to teach it to my kids, but you're missing out, like you're saying, on the soul of it and that from integrating it. But that can be a little intimidating if you don't actually know how to speak the language yourself.
Exactly. Because, oh, and Charlotte Mason said too
Yeah,
that
hire a French
all,
governess. I love that. Okay,
I
Charlotte.
know,
I
yeah, no
love
big
that.
deal.
Let me do that.
Yeah, let's all just hire a French nanny and
Perfect.
that'll solve all the problems. So I know she really encouraged everyone to learn French, but I also feel for the moms that, you know, because even me as a French major and a trained French teacher, I had a hard time bringing it into my home because just like you said, we still had to do math. We still had to do all of our books and narrations. Are they writing? And did we hit history? All the nature study, everything. I just felt like so burdened that I didn't have enough time to add in French. And I had no excuse. Like I could speak French. And so I created my courses just because I feel for those moms who want to do that. Just like you said, you want to add it in. It's beneficial. The earlier, the better. But it can become such a burden. It can be such another thing to add that I'm not getting through. And by the way, I don't even know how to pronounce these words. And I'm really wanting to come alongside other moms and be like, okay, you don't have much time, but play my videos during morning time. And I'm sitting there with you and just repeat after me. And let's go through, even we're counting, but let's put it in and let's talk about the different arrondissements in Paris and how they're numbered. And let's talk about how to say how much a baguette costs and just use the numbers in context. And then let's look at art and let's incorporate scripture. And that's my heart. I just want to come alongside the moms, especially the Charlotte Mason moms who want to do everything like, and that it fits their philosophy of education. Because a lot of moms I'm meeting, they're doing all the things like the narrations and the picture study. But for foreign language, like you said, it's okay, just go Duolingo. Go take your app
Yeah.
and take your device and do that. And it's just very like contradictory to their philosophy. So
Mm.
my desire is to be your in-home French teacher, but I'm not there. But I'm there to support you and to even show you how to position in your mouth, to say certain words, because
Yes, I
it's
thought that was extremely helpful. You gave me some to help me kind of review before I left for my trip. Of course, I was like, oh, I got a 7 hour flight. I'll just look at it on the flight, and the Wi-Fi didn't work on the plane. But the things I was able to watch before we took off was really helpful of how you teach how to pronounce. I
Yes,
had never, and I've taken many French classes.
really.
You would think I would be fluent at this point of how much money I have spent. I even had a private tutor for 6 months before I left.
Oh my goodness.
Never went over the pronunciations.
Really?
And so it's just seeing
Okay.
you on the video and you're like, okay, this letter says this sound. I was like,
Hmm.
why has no one ever told me this in 20 years?
Oh my goodness. That's so interesting.
Because if
It's,
you look at
yeah.
it from like an English, right? If you're trying
Hmm.
to, you're like bonjour, like
Yeah.
you don't, that's how it's pronounced. And then the French, they love to add on like extra letters that no one pronounces just for fun. Let's just add on four vowels at the end of this
Just
word
for fun.
and an X. That's fine. That makes sense. And so if you're trying to read it and you don't have someone pronouncing it or telling you,
Hmm.
like I was like Versailles, right? People will say like Versailles or something
Yes.
like because that's how it looks like it's spelled. But if you
Yes.
those two L's make this sound like that was just really helpful. So I'm
Yeah. And I also stress like, and even the French people don't think they speak French well. There's this
really
standard of the French language. There's something called l'Académie Française, and they are like the guard keepers of the language to keep it pure. But the French are such sticklers with how you pronounce the words in grammar. And so there's a standard of French that even French people haven't met. And when we're learning, it's like, how could I ever sound like a native speaker? The fact is, we won't.
Mhm.
But there are some key things that we can learn to sound better. And why do we want to learn French? It's because it's beautiful. So why would we want to learn French and butcher it? So I feel very strongly that because there are some
Yes.
programs out there that say, just practice and don't worry about your pronunciation. And to a degree, I can agree to a certain extent where you don't want to be paralyzed. You want to be able to make mistakes, right?
Yes.
But I am so convicted that why can't we start with good pronunciation from the beginning? And we're not going to be perfect all the time, and we have to be willing to sound foolish or make mistakes. But why don't we start the pronunciation and build the foundation from the start so that later we don't have to like correct
It's
mispronunciation
a
that
lot
we've been
harder to
doing
do
for
that.
years. It really is. So when I start with my kids, well, with my students, I love bonjour because it has a vowel sound in there, two vowel sounds. And I always say that in French, the vowel sounds are what make you sound more French and more understandable. So it's not bonjour, it's bonjour. It's a very tight O and it's a nasal sound. So
Mhm.
it's one simple word, but there's so much to learn in even just bonjour. The nasal sound, the O sound, the oo sound, the R. We could even spend a whole lesson just on bonjour.
I was like, we
But
spent a whole lesson on the R sound.
yes,
Can't get that right.
exactly. Yeah. And I told students yesterday the R sound is like for English, we use the tip of our tongue for the R. In French, we use the back of our tongue for the R. And it's like we're gargling.
Again, that was so helpful. Like the visual picture of like where to put your tongue, where to put your teeth. Like again, I've never heard that. I was like, this makes so much sense.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad because when you feel confident about something that you're saying, even if it's one simple sentence, it's going to encourage you to keep going.
Mm.
Because how many of us have started something and we feel like, oh, this is not sounding right. I am not good at this. And then you feel
I tried to learn to play
defeated.
guitar. It did not sound like Fleetwood Mac. I really tried. It was really painful sounding, and I was like, I don't like how this sounds. Maybe not
I know. And then you can feel easily discouraged and feel like, oh, I don't even know if I should pick this up again. But the more we find the success from the beginning in sounding well,
Yes,
even if it's just a simple phrase, I feel like it just gives you more confidence to keep going. So I
absolutely.
love teaching pronunciation
No,
and
you did a really great job with that, and I think it's really great that it makes
merci.
so much sense. Why everyone doesn't start with it, I'm not really sure. So you describe your program as like slow French for families. So why is slowing down a good thing when learning a foreign language?
Yeah, I think when we first learned our first language, how many times did we have to repeat the words before we spoke coherently, right? Babies babble. And how many years have they listened to language before saying their first word, or how many months is that? And so I really think that th learning a language is not easy. It can get very rigorous, especially when you get into a lot of the grammar and the writing. But when you're first speaking, I really, and Charlotte Mason thought this too, it really should be conversational first. There's really not a need, especially when you're like not in high school yet, there's really not a very big need to do workbooks and all that stuff. Dictation would be great. That's a really easy way to do, or copywriting and dictations are great ways to organically learn spelling. But in terms of the beginning, especially the younger ages, it's really good to take your time and just say the same things over and over again. Now, not in a way that is not delightful, not in a way that feels like, oh, I'm just, again, a utilitarian, but you can. So Charlotte Mason she really liked this teacher named Monsieur Gouin. And his strategy was like he called it a series. So you start with
I remember that one.
oui, laver la main, or like a series of things
I did that
that,
with my kids.
you know, like I have my coffee here. Je prends le café. Oui. So different verbs, like having a series of things that happen, but changing the verb or changing one thing that you're adding on to. And so even that strategy is very, okay, let's do one little thing at a time and keep adding on to it. So that's what I like to do too. In the beginning, just listen to it. Say it over and over again, but then practice it. So in my self-paced courses, I just do a lot of built-in practice. I'll pretend that I'm with you and even have like little bits of silence where I'm like, okay, your turn. Répétez. You can repeat after me or say this amongst yourselves. It's a way for moms to be able to learn with their kids versus just signing up your kids for classes and they learn themselves. How neat is it to be able to learn with your kids and practice together? And it can be more organic so that you can go outside on your nature day. And if you've done colors, ah, il y a le bleu, there's the blue sky, right? Il y a le marron, and just weaving it all together organically. But yeah, you're right. In the beginning, I love repetition, but I like to make it fun and meaningful. And I also really encourage families to listen to French as much as you can. So I really like to curate music
Mm.
and different, even some of my favorite podcasts and YouTube videos that have people speaking, native speakers speaking French in a very natural setting. So depending on what we're learning, I'll incorporate those kind of things. Just the more you can listen and immerse yourself in French, even if you don't understand it all, that's okay. You'll even get to hear like the intonations. When do their voices go up and down? How do they end a question? Or things like that you can just pick up that you can't get from just like a textbook.
Yeah. And textbooks don't talk either. So that's
Exactly.
super beneficial. And yes, like I said, then you can start to pronounce things wrong when you're seeing it and you're reading it for the same
Mhm.
time. Did you recommend that everyone kind of starts with the pronunciation, the basics, and then builds from there? Or if you have like older kids or younger kids, like
Yeah.
in terms of like what you're offering?
So right now I do live weekly classes, but those fill up really fast. So my beginning level one, so those are all full, but some, especially for the moms who want to learn with their kids, this is what I'm really pushing right now is my self-paced courses. And so I have my French feast course, and that's where you're going to learn how to introduce yourself and all the counting and numbers, but like again, in a meaningful way using art and music and scripture. But then I also have, so that's the French feast, but I also have a starter course called Pronunciation Basics, and that's like a mini 5 lesson thing. And some
You
of my
sent me, right?
families, yes, I think I might have given you both actually.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But some of my families do the pronunciation first.
Okay.
That also incorporates art. But some of my families do it concurrently. So they'll do one lesson from there and one lesson from there. And then, but also in my French feast course, I incorporate pronunciation throughout. But in the actual separate course, you'll learn the actual rules so that you can keep going forward with that when those things come up. And then next month in August, I'm coming out with my second French feast course. It's all about Paris.
Oh, stop
So
it. What?
it
Oh my gosh, I
is,
have to have it.
yes. I am having the most fun creating it. I was like,
And you're
this
going
is
to
what
go there
I'm.
and it's a tax write-off. It's a
Yes,
business trip. Totally. Right?
exactly.
You're
And we're
being,
going in January. Yes.
oh, you want to take me? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, let's go. But yeah,
We can
it's
record
all about
podcast live from
Paris.
Paris.
That would be amazing. Families have been asking me, would you ever do a tour? And I'm like, oh, what a dream that would be. But yeah, the next course is all about Paris, and we're going to explore the city, the shops, the monuments, but speak French along the way. So you're going to learn how to say, Je désire aller à Paris. I desire to go to Paris. Je veux visiter la boulangerie. I want to go to the bakery. Je veux acheter des baguettes. I want to buy baguettes. It's just things like that. And then at the end, you create your little own itinerary in Paris for a week. And we look at some scripture again because you're looking at all this beauty, but what does it point to? It points to the creator of beauty, and that's our
Mhm.
Lord. There wouldn't be this beauty in the world if we weren't all copycatting him. The way he's created this world and enabled people to create these beautiful buildings and art, we can worship him through it as we admire the magic of the city. So I'm having the best time creating the course. My only problem is that now it's getting so long because there's so much to put in.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it'd be hard to narrow it down for sure.
Yeah.
I did go to the Galeries de Lafayette, and that
Did
was,
you?
we are going to do like a shopping unit, but it was so overwhelming. It's
Yes.
not like our malls where each store is its own little separate thing. It's all
Hmm.
open and it's six
Yes.
stories of openness. And I was just like, oh, sensory overload, get me out of here.
It
I'm gonna
is
have a little boutique down some random alley. Thank you.
it is one of this it's a monument in itself.
Oh,
It
it's
is,
beautiful. I'm glad I went, but
yeah. Did you buy anything?
oh no, the prices in that place,
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, whoa.
I know. When I saw all the high-end brands, I was like, okay, this is not for me to shop. I'm just gonna look.
Yes, I was like, and I'm not even sure what this outfit is. Is this a shirt? Is it a dress? Is it pants and a shirt together? Like some of the designer stuff was, but it's cool to look at. But yeah,
It is. I mean, it's
definitely not going to be
Paris.
buying any of that anytime soon. But I found
Yes.
some really fun thrift stores on some back alleys. So
Okay, do you remember the addresses? Because I would love to know.
yeah,
Okay. I haven't thrifted enough in Paris, but I want to know where you
one
went.
was right by the Galeries de Lafayette. Like I
Oh,
literally
was
walked
it?
like 2 blocks and ended up, and I was like, oh, this is fun. They had Ralph Lauren stuff in there and all kinds of fun stuff. And then the other one was right across from the Sac de Coeur. Am I saying that right?
Okay, Sacré-Cœur. Uh-huh.
Sac de Coeur.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yes. And that I got my daughter a dress there that was hanging in the window and it was only 10 euros.
Oh my
That's the
goodness.
way to shop in Paris, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that next
Thrift stores,
time.
but sadly, this broke my heart. I did not get to any bookstores.
Okay, yeah. Next trip.
Very bummed about that. I
Next
was like,
trip.
where are the bookstores? Like I kept
Yeah.
looking for them, like they have to be here
Uh-huh.
somewhere,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
there are some really charming bookstores.
Yes, that's what I was like picturing like myself, like in Paris with a
Mm-hmm.
croissant and a café and a
Oh.
book and like, where are the bookstores? I couldn't find them. But maybe I was
Well,
looking at the
that,
wrong places, but it was a little hot too, so I'm like, I'm not walking anymore.
oh, yeah. Next time, go in the spring or the fall. And I always say, after you've gone once, right when you get back, you're planning your next trip. Even if it's just dreaming about it is half the fun.
It is true. Yes, I had a really good time planning the whole.
Hmm.
I had it like I had it down with the metro, and it's going to take this many minutes to get to the here and this many minutes.
Wow.
We're to spend an hour in a cafe. Like I had because
That's
I 2 days and
awesome.
I had lots to see. So is
Yeah.
that Paris unit going to be like an do you have to do the first one and then this one's after it, or can you do
So,
either one?
yeah, it can be a standalone, but during the course, I refer back to the first one a lot.
Okay,
But it can be a standalone, but you're going to benefit the most if you've done the other ones.
that's good to
Yeah.
know. Especially if you're talking about colors, numbers, and you're having to like
Mm-hmm.
narrate, it would make sense. That would be the foundation first. Otherwise, you can't
Exactly. Yeah.
describe the color of whatever.
Exactly.
So no, I'm so excited about that. So yes, definitely let me know when that comes out. So this episode might air in the end of August, so that'd be perfect.
Okay, perfect.
And I think you have a freebie for everybody too, right?
Yes, it's my free guide. And because a lot of moms will ask me, so how can I start dipping my toes in this without committing to anything? I was like, okay, that's perfect. Here are 5 really low budget, simple, easy ways to bring French into your home. And things like my Spotify playlist, play it in the car. Just get your home and your minds used to hearing it. So, one of them is some shows that I recommend, but also, what are your favorite movies and shows that you've watched again and again with your kids? Watch it in French. Because then,
Being the Beast is great.
exactly. And then you don't have to just think, okay, what's going on here? You
Yeah,
already know what's going on,
I love that
but now
idea.
you
That's
can get
great.
it in French and then you can watch it over and over. And then it also has the first lesson of my French feast course in there for free at the end.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Yes,
yeah,
we'll put that link in the show notes
sure.
as for sure. As we wrap up here, thank you so much. This has been so fun. I could just talk to you forever.
Seriously.
What for parents who are nervous
Mhm.
about starting foreign language, with whatever language that might be, what kind of reassurance can you give them?
I would say don't think too hard about it. Don't yet have your goal of being bilingual. That is such a huge
I'm working on that for
mountain.
20 years. I like a
Yeah,
lot for a child. Yes.
it's a lot. It's don't all of a sudden think you need to climb Mount Everest. Just think of exposing yourself to beauty. Just think of that. Just think of
And
it.
that's
Okay,
easy.
this,
That sounds so easy
right?
because it's
And
also beautiful.
it is also beautiful. Also, what we're doing when you're doing picture study and nature study, do your kids remember every single thing at the end of every year? No. But has it changed them? Has it fed their soul? Absolutely. And so language can be the same thing. You don't have to feel like a failure if after 2 years you're not completely fluent. But will it have exposed you to a whole new culture, a whole new people made in the image of God that you could communicate with, even if it's just a small sentence? Does it expose you to even like what you and I were talking about with the bonjour? Even that tiny
Mm.
cultural aspect makes you appreciate some people that you've grown up across the globe from that don't share the same worldview usually, but now you can identify with them. And these are people that God has created and He loves. And so you can just look at foreign language as this is another way, and like on brand with you, to enjoy the feast. It
Mm.
really is. And that it's not a waste if you don't come out completely bilingual from this. Now, some of my students will be, and some of my students are super motivated. And I found that, okay, let's say that your desire is to be bilingual. The ones that have hooked on French to some kind of passion in their life are
Mm.
the ones that stick with it and become bilingual. So I have students that I had been teaching for 6 years,
Oh, wow.
and they can totally have conversations with me. Our classes at towards the end of my time with them, it was just all in French, and we would read the news or read and just talk about it. And it was so much fun because they were my like French practice partners,
Yes, right. It helps to
But
have.
yeah, but those kids that really want to stick with it, they have some kind of passion, whether it's the culture or just the language themselves itself, or maybe it's literature or cooking, some kind of hook onto the language that makes them want to be motivated to stick with it. It's usually the kids that are like, my mom made me take this class. And my mom loves French, but I haven't caught on to that yet. Now, some of them start off like that and then they turn and they're like, okay, madame, this I'm obsessed now. But that's why I love to incorporate all the things because it does give kids more of an opportunity to fall in love with it, at least some aspect of it. And
Mm.
that motivates them to keep going. But your question about like how do I encourage parents who are a little overwhelmed or intimidated? Just start small. Just start with how to introduce yourself and let it feed your soul because it's not a waste.
Yeah, I love the approach that you take of that because that feels life-giving. That feels, okay, I can breathe. I don't
Yeah,
have to get my child to pass the AP French exam or
exactly.
whatever for us to have succeeded.
Mhm.
Really is what Charlotte Mason talks about with every subject. It's training their affections and for what
Exactly.
is true and good and beautiful. And so if you approach it with the materials like you have, where you're approaching it
Hmm.
from a life-giving beauty way. And French is just really easy because let's just be honest, everything is beautiful. Like I was telling you before we started recording, like in Paris, I felt like I was like having a beauty sensory overload because
It seriously is.
everyone looks beautiful. All the language, they sound beautiful. The food is beautiful. Like, can we talk
Yes.
about the bread over there, girl?
Oh,
What are they doing over
you
there? Because I've never had bread that tasted like this in my entire life. I
you
was like,
have not
I have not lived until you had this bread.
you have not had bread until you've eaten bread in France.
It's amazing.
And it's something you can't replicate it here. You cannot.
It's so sad. I was like,
It's
where can
so
I find
sad.
this?
I know, but you're right.
I'm like, when I have the bread here, I'm like,
I know. And it only costs a euro 50 at the most for this amazing baguette. Isn't that crazy?
it's incredible. Yeah,
I know.
it really
But
is.
like you said, when you're talking about ordering our affections, that's what it is. It's not, let's learn this thing and then be very Charlotte Mason-y because she said we should all learn French. It's no, let's expose ourselves to what is beautiful so that our affections can be for what is beautiful. And I feel like you and I could talk about the beauty of France forever.
Spain
But
was very beautiful too. I would just, we'll put that out there for people learning
yes.
Spanish. We did go to Barcelona and we went to the Sagrada Familia Cathedral.
Wow.
I literally
Amazing.
started bawling when I walked. It
Oh,
was transcendent. It was so incredible. I've never seen, and I've been to lots of churches, like amazing churches,
yes.
but because it's modern and every
Mm,
detail, it literally takes your breath away. Like the columns are tree trunks and the ceiling of the cathedral is like a forest.
really?
And the stained glass windows are all modern. They're not like showing a scene like some of the
Hmm.
traditional ones. And like the way the sun goes through the stained glass as the day goes by, like
Wow.
every little tiny detail of the sculpture that has like this many pieces, like it was incredible everywhere. And
Oh my
like,
goodness.
so if you're learning Spanish, look up the Sagrada Familia, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, in Barcelona. Uh,
Barcelona.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and then another thing that kind of came up when you were saying that is some people will be like, we're never going to be able to go to Europe. We're never going to be able to go to France. Why should we learn that? We have Spanish speakers here. And of course, it's way more practical to speak Spanish in our country. But even for me, when I started learning French, I was like, there is no way I'm going to be able to go to France. I don't have the means. And then I was able to go during college. But when my kids were younger, my son was like, Mom, I really want to visit Paris. And I was like, Son, in the new heaven and the new earth, we will visit Paris then.
I get all day long.
Yes, that is our hope, our future hope, because it is not a light thing to be able to afford that,
Oh yeah.
especially like homeschool families
Airfare.
on one
Yeah.
income. But you just never know what's going to happen, really. And that's what I tell my families all the time. Dreaming is half the fun. When you get there, it's going to feel so familiar because you've been living in it and marinating in the books and all the culture and all the everything. But don't not get into it because you feel like it's unachievable. It's like living there. That's why we read all our books, right? We've been to the Middle Ages. We've
Yes.
been to the Civil War. And so the same thing with this. Don't discount French because you feel like it's impractical and you'll never meet a French person and go there because I've had so much time, so much fun daydreaming about all the trips that I want to take, as much as being there. I truly believe that it's so much fun to desire that and to be excited about it. And you never know what the Lord is going to do. He might take you there one day with your family.
And
So,
also 2 years ago, I went to Quebec
okay.
and I know it can be kind of like British English versus American English, but Quebec was amazing. It
Wow.
looks like a medieval town still. Like it is, I
Really?
was not expecting that. Yes, all the castles and the cobblestone streets, and obviously it's not Paris, but it is a lot closer. And if you want to go
Yeah,
to Canada, you can
that's
speak
such
French
an
there too.
option. Absolutely. Yes. And you can practice your French there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's such a good option.
And it encourages me that Julia Child did not start learning French until she was 36,
That's so true.
have her cooking show till she was 54. So there's still time for me.
Exactly. And the fact that she didn't even cook until her 30s. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
So, yes, it's never too late.
It's never too late. So literally since I was a little girl, I had a picture of the Eiffel Tower in my room. I was a Les Miserables fanatic,
Okay.
musical. And
Uh-huh.
I've always dreamed of going to Paris
Really?
my whole life. That has been the one place that people are like, where do you want to go? I'm like, Paris. And I got to go last
You
month,
got to go.
almost
You got
50,
to
but I
go.
got to go. So yeah, to keep the dream alive,
Yes.
it is
Keep the dream
possible.
alive. It's worth dreaming, even if you think it's impossible.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time. And where can everyone find you?
Yeah, they can find me at frenchwithmadamelee.com and on Instagram too, French with Madame Lee.
Perfect. And we'll put the link to your freebie in the show notes. So everybody go check that out if you're interested in trying a sample. And then when your new Paris unit comes out, we'll definitely put a link to that as well.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
I can't wait to get that in my hands. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Let's wrap up with a few key takeaways. Number one, language is a feast, not a checklist. Sue shares how her art history class in high school opened her eyes to the beauty of learning. That passion now fuels her approach to teaching French as something that feeds the soul, not just checks a box. Number two, Charlotte Mason's Science of Relations applies beautifully to teaching foreign languages. By connecting French vocabulary to art, food, music, sculpture, and scripture, Sue helps families make deep, lasting connections that go beyond memorization. Number three, you don't need to be fluent to get started. Whether one foreign language word or many, Sue's approach welcomes moms and children alike to learn slowly, meaningfully, and joyfully. Number four, pronunciation is foundational. Sue's mini course teaches correct pronunciation from the start with visual and auditory tools like mouth positioning and repetition. So whether you're learning French or a different language, make sure to try to find some video tutorials where they show you how to pronounce the sounds correctly. And then number five, dreaming of Paris is just part of the journey. You don't need a plane ticket to bring French into your home. But as we shared, keeping the dream alive through books, movies, music, and stories builds wonder. And hey, you never know when the dream might come true. Make sure to check out the show notes for Sue's free guide. And thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this episode, please heart it down below and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave a comment and let me know what you learned in today's episode. I'd love to hear from you.